All right, everyone, testing that we are live, going live on Let's Talk America with host Shana Thornton, with the one and only licensed esthetician Rochelle Rodriguez. And Rochelle, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of Real Talk, produced by Let's Talk America with host Shana Thornton Podcast Radio. And it's Sunday night, and we love highlighting fascinating topics with very, very well knowledgeable people that know a lot about the subject. And tonight, we're talking all things skin. That's right, we're going to talk about healthy skin routines. You're having acne breakouts. Do you get a breakout on your forehead? Or do you suspect that certain hair products could be irritating your skin, or you're getting patches of eczema? Well, tonight we're speaking with someone that has seen a lot of that, and she's going to give you some tips that are certainly going to help. Now, we have a tradition here on Let's Talk America. Everyone, if you've watched us before, if this is your first time, we welcome you. Hello. Don't let it be your last time. But when we have our expert guests and advocates in their specific topics or arenas, we certainly love for them to really introduce themselves. Now, I'll tell you this, that Rochelle Rodriguez is a licensed esthetician, as I said before. She's an instructor. She teaches at an area college in Atlanta, Georgia. She loves really advocating and educating people. I know that, speaking with her one-on-one, a fascinating passion that she has. But right now, we're going to put the spotlight on Rochelle. And Rochelle, you've done the schooling, you've got the certification, you own your own business. Tell us what drives you to be so passionate and so adamant about that very special organ that's the largest organ, all right, with us, called skin. And I want to say thank you for Denisha out of Atlanta who's watching us. She said, good evening, ladies. So thank you. Rochelle, why skin?
Shana, first of all, thank you so much for having me on here. I'm so excited to be on here, especially speaking on skin, my passion, right? So, why skin? Everyone asked me that question. Why skin? Really, honestly, why not skin? It is our largest organ, just like you said. It's amazing how we don't even think of it that way. We have so many other organs, and we say, wow, the skin is actually our largest organ on our body. And it is. It's the last area to get hydrated. It's the last area that gets, that supplement in there, because everything works from the bottom all the way up. But it is the quickest part of our body that gets exposed to the most environmental debris and impurities and things like that. So it is the quickest part of our body that gets targeted with sun exposure and all the things that causes impurities. But it's also the last place that actually gets hydrated and tended to. So why skin? Because we as humans, as mental illness is going on to COVID, wearing masks and all those things, we've had so much stuff going on with our skin that we're not really educated on it. And social media is really not the best place at this time to actually follow a good skincare regimen. So I've decided to put in my passion to learn more about the skin, because I myself have had skin conditions. I've been diagnosed with different skin conditions, PCOS, eczema, and it was just a passion of mine to just learn, not only for myself, but also to help educate others on the proper skincare and the proper routine to have at home. And you don't always necessarily have to just go and get all these medications. I wanted to bring in and cultivate a knowledge and an education where we can help each other understand how to use the proper skincare products for our skin and for the things that are going on with our skin.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing that up and being so transparent about your own skin conditions. I think most of us, if not ourselves, excuse me, we certainly know individuals who've had skin conditions. If it's our newborn baby with eczema, if it's just things of just maybe just general areas of dryness or acne breakouts on our back and other parts of our body. Because Rochelle, I think so many times when we hear skin, we automatically think of our face, right? And I think for a lot of people, in particular females, because it seems to be the most noticeable part, we focus on that the more than other areas. But I know when it comes to skincare routine, you're saying, we've also got to pay attention to other parts of our body. And we know, as a licensed esthetician, obviously you support general healthy derm areas, such as people being aware. I know you've spoken with me about this as well before the show, about moles that look abnormal, areas of the skin that look abnormal, for those people to make sure they are following up with a medical provider as well.
Absolutely.
So if you're watching us tonight live, or if you're on replay, I don't want you, especially our guide viewers, to say, okay, this is a show about vanity, and we don't care about patches under the eyes or trying to look young or wrinkles. But skin, it is the largest organ on our body, and also there are indications, right, Rochelle, that it can also lead us to perhaps other things being wrong. I know, for instance, we go to the optometrist or the eye doctor, and when they spot things, it can be an indication of more serious things, such as type 2 diabetes not being controlled. With the skin, is that true in that sense, that there could be things happening with the skin that could be a larger indicator that something else could be going on internally?
Absolutely, Shana. Absolutely. There's so much that goes into it. When I do my consultations, your first time client, your first time person at that's actually in our treatment room, we go over all of this. Your consultation is the most important. That's when you and I get to know each other. I get to know you, your medications you're taking, any concerns you might have, anything that you have noticed on your skin that was never there before. And so many things can play a part in that medications, hormones, surgeries, weather, seasonal weather, fragrances, detergents. I mean, the list goes on. So as licensed estheticians, of course, we get into the details. We learn about the different diseases and disorders of the skin. We get in real deep into that. It's a real in-depth part of our curriculum, actually, that we learn the different diseases and disorders of the skin. So much like dermatologists, which is where we go when we have concerns about our skin, I also refer my clients to their medical practitioners, so their general doctors, because it can play so many different roles. It could be blood pressure, it could be diabetes, it could be, things that need to go towards more of a medical professional, your general doctor. If I see something, or you ask me something about some patches on your skin, or how you might have a little rough patch here and a little, bumpy scratch somewhere else, I might steer you more into the dermatologist area, but I'll ask you some questions. Again, medications play a big role in that. Surgeries, hormonal imbalances also play a big role in it. Your diet, your gut health plays such a huge part of that. So, it's so many different things that can trigger our impurities and can trigger a lot of skin concerns.
Yeah, I want to say, when you said so much of our diet, I happen to love spicy food. Love it. I have all my life. I earned it honestly from my paternal grandfather. But I also had experts in skin, such as yourself, and dermatologists tell me that can really flare up the skin, right? They're saying spicy foods or things you're putting in is not just something that you say, oh, I love spicy food, it goes into my tummy. Going back to what you said, a lot of gut health, if you will. I know I'm stretching that somewhat, but does reflect on our skin, right?
Absolutely. Spicy foods, dairies, all those things, candy, sugars, caffeine. There's so many different things that we all love. So everything that we love at some point is not good for us, right? We've
Yeah,
always heard that you are what you eat, right? Well, your skin is what you eat also.
yeah.
I am right there with you, Shane. I love spicy foods. I love my chocolates. I love, all things ice cream, all things dairy. But everything is with moderation. Everything is with moderation. Our acneic clients right now, our teens, of course, they're going through the hormonal acne
Yeah,
stages, but they also don't eat right. And let's talk, let's be real. Let's talk America, right?
yeah, yeah.
Everyone's has a chaotic lifestyle right now. We're all eating fast food, we're eating processed foods, we're in a rush, life is lifing, okay? So
Yes,
it's quicker to go to the next, to the drive-throughs, and it's quicker to go pick up the the food from the restaurant, or Uber something to us. So
yes,
America has gotten to the point now where we're living such a busy life that we're not actually focused on home cooked meals. We're
yeah,
not, sitting down and really figuring out what we're eating and what we're putting in our foods.
yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, absolutely. Foods have so much to do with our skin, overall skin health. Absolutely.
Yeah, and such a great point to bring up because we all know, unfortunately, many people are, and I say unfortunately, but it's a convenience with it when it comes to processed foods. And of course, the unfortunate part of processed foods is many of us don't know all the ingredients that's in it. We had a dietitian come on the show, and she makes light of it, but she says if you can't pronounce the word, it's probably not very wholesome or organic, if you will. And such a great point. You know, this show belongs to you. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, say hello to us if you're a YouTube watcher, and also our Facebook watchers. We appreciate it. Samantha, thank you. Samantha Reed gave us 4 hearts. We appreciate you. Get your questions or feedback in, Samantha. Sadiqa Gibson out of Atlanta, Georgia says, true, she tends to focus on her face and she finds that her skin gets dry due to lack of moisture. And thank you, Chris Scott, Pastor Scott, who's watching us out of Atlanta Metro. She said, great information, ladies. And thank you so much. We have a fellow YouTuber that said, awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for joining us. Sadiqa had a great point. She said, her skin gets dry due to lack of moisture. I'm no expert like you, but I've been on this earth a few decades. I would imagine that certain skin types, if you will, and you can explain that to us, Rochelle. Certain skin types need moisture more than others because of, let me get this right. I've been told this in my life. If you have the T strip, you tend to have more oily skin in that area. And I would imagine, I'm taking a leap of guessing here, you wouldn't need as much moisture as someone that tends to have more drier patches of skin all throughout their face.
Yeah. So yeah, our T zone. So that's
Yeah.
considered our T zone. You know, we're oilier on that
Okay.
area the most. That area is also the one that's exposed to more lotions, creams, shampoos, conditioners, washing our hair, hats, scarves. You know, all those things that we tend to put on our head that consumes oils. Obviously, you know, but really it all depends on your skin type, absolutely. And when I say skin type, I mean, you know, are you a normal skin, are you combination skin, so do you have that T-zone that's oilier but everything else is dry, or vice versa? Believe it or
Yeah.
not, I have clients who have their T-zone dry and the rest of their skin is oily.
Oh,
I
wow.
have my normal skin. It all depends. Right now we're going through those winter months where everyone's going through the dry skin, totally normal. You're going from
Yeah.
cold outside to all of a sudden later, thank you, Georgia, it's all of a sudden nice and warm outside. You're going inside of a building where it's cold or where you're exposed to heat. So our body, our skin is being exposed to different temperatures throughout the day. You're driving in the car, you're exposed more to sunlight. Have you ever noticed everybody has that darker arm sometimes because our arm is
Yes.
out, or
Yes.
we're, you know, our driver's side. If I put you under a mag light under my skin analysis, I can tell whether your driver's side is more exposed to sun. And then I
Okay.
can also tell what side of the bed you sleep on due to your elasticity, the droopiness of your skin, or if you
Oh,
have some dry
wow.
patches. So all of that stuff plays into
Yeah.
effect. Um,
Wow.
our pillowcases, you know, consume a lot of germs, oils,
Yeah.
from our hair products, our creams, our things on our face, our phones. So different things can trigger what is going on with your skin. So whether you have oily skin or dry skin, there's so many things that can possibly have targeted that.
Yeah, and that's such a great point. I think things you don't even think of. You're saying you can tell what side we tend to sleep on, and most people do tend to sleep on a particular side, right? Some of those habits probably gained as an older infant or toddler, and we sort of keep to it, but not realizing it could have an impact on our skin or our face. I want to certainly thank everyone for watching us, and we've got some questions coming in, and we're going to get to those. This is your show. If you're watching us on replay, tag a friend. But right now, live, if you're watching us live, get a question in. If you're a teenager, hey, and if you're saying you've got acne, what's up with that? Come on, ask the question. We have a licensed esthetician on who specializes in skincare and a healthy routine. And Rochelle, you pointed out that hormones flare for teenagers. We're going to talk about hormones flaring for women in perimenopause and menopause as well, and some healthy things for women and men to do to keep that skin as possibly as clear and healthy as possible. But when you said during the summer months, right, sometimes when the sun is more beaming, we can be darker on one side, regardless of your race or ethnicity. That's a great point. But let me ask you this. so many times in the winter, when I go to the beach, I know to put on sunscreen. But in the winter, I'm thinking, obviously, no, I'm darker skinned, I'm African American. Help us out for in terms of healthiness and helping cut down on the risk of skin cancer. Should all skin types be using sunscreen throughout the year, or mostly in your summer or spring months?
No, Shayna, that's a great question. My clients laugh at me and then their eyes get all big when I tell them this part. All skin should be
Yeah.
using sunscreen.
Okay.
Sunscreen is a major part of your skincare routine. As a matter
Okay.
of fact, you should be wearing your sunscreen day and night, rain or shine. Okay. Sunscreen has so many ingredients in there, including your zinc in there as well. And we all know that zinc is great for us, even, for our overall health.
Yes.
If you remember during the COVID days, it was always they were pushing that zinc in us all the time, right?
Yes.
To help with our immune system. So a lot of our sunscreens, we know we hate them. They leave us that white chalky, pasty face
Correct.
on there. Okay, totally understand that. But the thicker, the better. Okay, believe it or not, the thicker, the better. But sunscreen is so important and is so crucial because of the ingredients in sunscreen help with those anti-aging ingredients. They help with
Okay.
that process. Now, we all know that anti-aging does not exist. We cannot stop the process of aging. But what we can do though is that we can go ahead and correct. We can go ahead and start having a healthier lifestyle, having a healthier skincare routine. And sunscreen is absolutely one of the major parts of our skincare routine. With your cleanser, your serums, your moisturizer, and your sunscreen is the four major ingredients are so important in your skin health. So, Shayna, to answer your question about the sunscreen also helps us with the UVB rays, even from our phones. It helps us with the sun rays, also computer, the light that,
Wow.
reflects us even from the computer screen. I know this is why you see your
Something we
eyes
don't
got
think
big
about.
and bright
Yeah.
too. Yeah, and those are things that we don't think about. Your television screens, all those things, the sunscreen actually protects us from. So having a daytime routine with your sunscreen and having a nighttime routine with your sunscreen is absolutely crucial to your skincare routine.
Thank you. Thank you so much for pointing that out, and that the zinc is actually healthy for us. But obviously, a lot of times when I've used it, I notice it gives that white chalkiness that is not always what you want on some skin types, obviously darker skin individuals. And so, but you're saying sometimes the thicker, the better. So it does put it in perspective, Rochelle, of what's healthy is for you versus what's cosmetic. Right. And my
Absolutely.
father, and he's probably watching, hey, dad, who is a proud veteran, but my dad also will often wear shoes, and he's saying they may not be the most appealing, right, on the eyes, but they're comfortable and healthy for him. So it's that's a reminder, Rochelle, of what you're telling us, making that leap.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to get our questions in right now. Thank
Yes.
you, everyone, for watching us. Thank you so much, Power of Words of Noah podcast on YouTube, by saying awesome. I know you. Appreciate you. We have Chutney out of Atlanta saying, how often should men get facials? That's a great point, Rochelle, because so many times, as Sadiqa pointed out, women, we focus on our face, but obviously men want to have healthy skin too, if it's something talked about openly or not. Should they be getting facials?
Absolutely. Our men, they're so much fun. We love their visits. They ask all the questions. Is believe it or not, they take it a lot more serious than some of the women do. They're so focused on the perfect skincare routine, but they're very minimal. They're like, don't sell me on all this stuff. I just, just give me the minimum of stuff that I need to do.
Yeah.
So absolutely, men, just like women, should get facials every month. The reason I say this is because we're exposed to so much environmental debris. And like I said previously, anything that we put on our skin, the sun, dirt, your environment every day. Okay. So having monthly facials is so important and so beneficial. To go to an expert. It doesn't even have to be the Afterglow Skin Bar, even though that's where I want you to come. But
Yeah.
having a professional skincare routine once a month at a med spa or at a day spa by a licensed esthetician is so important to your skin health, because we're the only ones that can actually pull out these impurities for you, whether it's mechanically or chemically, to where we can go deep into your skin. So if you look at your skin, a diagram of your skin, there's 3 layers to your skin. And, it's the surface of our skin. So what you see in the mirror, which is what we call the epidermis. And then the inside of our skin is the dermis. And then the deeper part is called our hydrodermis.
Okay.
So basically, what we see what we see in the mirror is the surface of our skin. And what's happening is that within, when our pores are being clogged, that's when we start seeing the impurities, on the surface of our skin. So men tend to have like facial hair, but they
Yeah.
tend to have ingrown hairs, beards,
Okay.
things like that need to be treated monthly, sometimes mechanical. With like a hydrofacial, for example, it's a vacuum therapy that pulls these impurities out. And this is for men and women. So
Okay.
we're pulling those impurities out, we're pulling that bacteria, we're pulling those ingrown hairs so that they don't get infected. But we also dehydrate the skin during this process. So we don't want to overdo it, which is why we say it's just once a month. Because we also have to produce natural oils in our skin. That way we don't strip our skin barrier.
Yeah, I see.
So for our men, absolutely. We offer scalp treatments. We offer beard treatments. The hydrofacial is one of our most popular. We have an Eminence male facial that's absolutely amazing. It helps with that beard treatment, helps with facial hair, helps with the ingrown hairs. But Shayna, honestly, for men and women, monthly facials are super, super crucial to your skincare health.
Got it. And like you're saying, pulling out some of those impurities of bacteria and everything that's there. I've got to ask a quick question before we go on to our next question. And thank you, everyone. Get your questions in now. If you're a teenager, if you're middle age, if you're older, if you're 29, living your best life, but most people are still having some skin concerns, get the questions in. We have the one and only licensed esthetician, Rochelle Rodriguez, out of Atlanta Metro. She is a business owner, entrepreneur. She's also a college instructor. She's all things skin, and she loves it and the passion shows. I'm Shana Thornton, on air host and executive producer. This is your show, Health Routine 101. Rochelle, when people have, I'm going to say in layman terms, bumps, right? You probably have more of a scientific name, but a bumps or a blackhead of some sort. There are many individuals from young, middle-aged to old who have a tendency to want to pop it. You know that. There's a famous show, if you will, I won't call the show out, where that's sort of kind of known for doing that. Is that healthy? I've always been told that can leave scarring on certain skin types. Is that true? Because I'm sure there are lots of men out there popping bumps, if you will, because maybe it's the macho thing to do or they're getting rid of it. What would your advice be on that?
Absolutely. I mean, before I became an esthetician, of course, I was doing it too. I remember the days when I was even getting the ends of the bobby pins and trying to,
Oh, wow.
try to get them out.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it was all the things going on back then. Absolutely. So extracting those blackheads or those whiteheads, obviously, of course, don't do it, right? But
Okay.
some people are just, it's a habit. They don't like it. They want a quick fix. But it is causing us trauma to our skin. And there's a couple of things with that, Shayna. So, are we being mindful about, did we wash our hands thoroughly before we pop that pimple,
Good
before we
point.
extracted that blackhead? Because we have dirt in our nails, we have dirt around our fingers. Our fingers, our hands collect so much bacteria on a daily basis. So if I was on the phone and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I see a pimple, did I put the phone down? Did I wash my hands
Yeah.
correctly and then go into my face? Or did I just automatically start picking at my face? Was
Yeah.
I driving in the car, saw myself in the mirror, and I'm like, oh no, I have something there, and I'm popping it.
Yes.
But I just got through touching my phone, my steering wheel,
That's
the
right.
doorknob. All those things play an effect. So
Yeah.
if you're popping a pimple or extracting a blackhead, just know that you are causing worse symptoms to yourself. So so our darker skin, of course,
Hmm.
we're causing more pigment to our skin. If you know,
Yeah.
we always our melanated skin, we scar easier, we bruise
Yes.
easier. Okay. Our lighter skin tones, we get more redness and inflammation. Okay.
Okay.
So all skin causes trauma. So no matter if you're on the lighter side and the darker side, you're still causing some type of
Trauma.
scarring and trauma to your skin. You're going to be irritated. That blood that's coming out and you're trying to stop it, the gunk that just came out. What are you doing with that after you popped it? We
Yeah.
have to wash our face thoroughly. We can't spread it. You got to wash that area carefully. And even washing it, you have to be so careful with it because you don't want to spread that pus. You don't want to spread that blackhead to
Point.
the rest of your skin.
Yeah.
So, personally, there's so many things out there. TikTok is killing us right now with these at
Yeah.
home, suction vacuum things. You wouldn't believe the clients that are bruising their skin from using these improperly. the best thing to do is go see your professional, licensed professional.
Yes.
Get those blackheads and those whiteheads and pimples treated correctly. We will show you tips on how to actually do these steps at home correctly. We would actually train you. We take time. We actually have you do it hands-on with us, because we want to make sure that when you leave the treatment room, if for some reason you are at home and it is bothering you and you can't come to me for every blackhead that you see, we're actually going to train you and give you that knowledge and do it with you in the treatment room so that you can take care of it at home also.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's all skincare, healthy. We're talking with the one and only Rochelle Rodriguez. She is an entrepreneur, owns her own spa, if you will, in Atlanta Metro, very popular, well-known one. And she also is an instructor at a local college, and she's a licensed esthetician. So you're talking with someone who's had the schooling and the training with us. And get your skin questions in, all types. If you're young, if your skin tends to be lighter, if it's darker or midway, get your questions in. If you're talking about acne or an area that has been a concern, or a mole that has started to change in shape, or it's bothering you, if it's itching, we want you to get those questions in. Friendly reminder, of course, this is for general education purposes only. For more specific information regarding your specific health and skin, we do ask that you see your own skin expert, okay? Because Rochelle's answering great questions and giving you the best of the best, but she's not looking at your skin, okay? So I'm going to echo that. Thank you, Dr. K, out of Atlanta Metro, one of our favorite educators and supporter of the show, watching us. Her question is, should we change our skin routine with the season? Great question. Is that the case, Rochelle? If it is, what does a change of routine look like season to season?
That's a wonderful question. I get that a lot as well. So it all depends on your skin also. It depends on how your skin reacts. For my normal clientele, the winter months, including myself, yes, absolutely, I've changed my cleanser. So now this winter month, the change of weather is drying out my skin. So I went from having more of a foam cleanser, a gel cleanser for like my spring, summer, to now changing more into more of a cream-based cleanser. But also keep in mind, again, I'm not seeing your skin, so it all depends on your skin anyway. So if 80% of your skin is the same all year long, then we may not have to. But if 50-50, if your skin changes in the season, then we do have to talk about some things.
Okay.
It could be a situation too where you're using a cream cleanser in the day, and then you're going to go towards a different cleanser, triggering whatever we're targeting
Okay.
at night. The most important cleanse of the day is your nighttime cleanse. But there are some clients, there are some skin that needs that extra cleanse. So you might need to do it twice a day, and you might need to have one or two different types of cleansers. So to answer that question, it all depends on your skin. Are you dry all year long? Are you just 50-50? Do we need to talk about a skincare routine where you're using it in the daytime, using it at night? You may just need it maybe twice a week, honestly. So definitely, let's figure those things out.
I've got a quick question for you. So many
Absolutely.
times when I was younger, I would hear people say, use a toner, and non-alcoholic toners after you've cleaned your face. Is that necessary for all skin types, or can sometimes the toners that have alcohol in it be too harsh and overstrip skin that may be more sensitive?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I'm so glad you asked that question. Such an important question. So basically what toners are doing is actually just bringing back the pH back into our skin.
Okay.
Okay. So after you've cleansed your skin, of course, we're pulling impurities out, we're cleaning
Yes.
debris. So our skin is a little bit dry. Okay. So now we have to go in with a toner. I don't necessarily recommend toners every day. I would have to
Okay.
see your skin. So like my acneic clients, they might be on a toner every day
I
for
see.
like maybe 2 weeks on and then 1 week off.
Okay.
It all depends on your skin. If you're on the drier end, I probably won't have you use, a
Okay.
toner. We have cleansers, medical grade cleansers that already have toners incorporated
Okay.
in them.
Got
And
it.
there's a percentage on there that's still safe, won't over dry your skin either. We
Okay.
have a couple of serums that already have toners in them as well. So,
Yeah.
the medical world when it comes to skincare is growing.
Yes.
You have sunscreens now that are with moisturizers too. So there's so much that plays an effect in that, to where I don't want you to have a toner and then use something that has a toner already in it, because at the end of the day, we don't want to over dry our skin, just like
Yeah.
exfoliators too.
Yeah.
There's no need to exfoliate 3-4 times a week, no matter
Okay.
what the package says. But with
Yes.
toners, it's so important to keep it at a minimum.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. We're talking about skincare one-on-one with the one and only licensed esthetician, Rochelle Rodriguez. I'm Shana Thornton with Let's Talk America podcast. We're having a great conversation. We are going to wrap up in a few minutes, so get your questions in. Thank you, That Playing 42 out of YouTube, showing us a lot of love and support. We appreciate you so much. We've got a great question coming up next, but I've got to ask this. When we talk about our teenagers, right? And we all remember those years where you sort of wake up overnight and then there's spots all over your face. Um, I don't want to call out TikTok, but they have been sort of famous for this, where there have been a lot of products pushed for our teens, right? Dealing with acne or other issues. And I recently saw a dermatologist on Instagram. He said that just because you're spending more on a product is not necessarily meaning you're getting a better quality. And he was saying some store level ones that are very reasonable and considered economical could be just be doing the same thing as well for that typical teen. Say they're 13 or they're 16, guy or girl, and they're seeing the acne, the bumps, they're seeing the spots that many of us are over 25 are familiar with at one point in our life. How important is it that they're at least cleaning their face every day, Rochelle? Because teenagers don't have a real pocket, and a lot of it is what mom and dad are allocating them. But have you seen these high-end products do any different for teens as some of the more economical ones?
Absolutely. I have a teen myself. He's going through it right now, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And, ever since I've been in this industry, I've kept him on a clean base teen kit,
Okay.
teen line, and he loves it because it's very minimal also.
Yeah.
Um, but Shayna, the teens these days, of course, social media is such a influence on them right now.
Yes.
I've seen things on TikTok with these smoothies that they're coming up with, and I've seen videos of teens actually buying retinols and retin-A's, and
Oh,
I'm like, no, and I just want to go in the camera and be like, no, stop.
yeah.
I find myself at stores and seeing the teens flooding the cosmetic areas, flooding the skincare areas, and not really knowing what they're buying, just buying it because the packaging looks cute, or because it has all the wording that they feel as though TikTok has told them that they need it. So really
Yes.
quick, because I know that we have a lot of questions to ask. Let's talk about acne skin really quick. So your teenagers, your young teenagers, and let's talk about 16. Let's talk about your teenagers 16 and younger. So
Yeah.
anywhere between 11 and 16.
Yes.
Okay, whether they're playing sports, going through hormonal imbalances, menstrual cycles. Even though boys don't get menstrual cycles, at the end of the day, they have stress levels. They
Yeah.
have hormone imbalances too. They just deal with their stress a little bit different than we do once a month. Okay, so they're still producing oils that they need.
Okay.
Okay, they definitely need these oils
Okay.
to not strip their skin barrier. So they should not be on retinols. Matter of fact,
Oh,
you should not be on a retinol until you're about 21 years of age.
okay.
Okay. And basically that is just because retinols can be very drying. Retinols can be very strong, and
Okay.
they're only supposed to be used, you know, once a week until you finally can start using them 3 times a week. Okay, so we
Okay.
gradually introduce you to retinols, but these kids these days just have to stick to a good cleanser, a
Okay.
gentle cleanser, a great moisturizer, and their SPF. That is the only three
Okay.
ingredients
Got it.
teenagers need. A gentle cleanser, it could be a gel cleanser, it could be
Yeah.
a cream cleanser,
Okay.
something that has ingredients like ceramides, something
Okay.
that says hyaluronic acid. Those are so important to keep the skin hydrated. They may or may not need a toner if they're playing sports. So a lot of my teens that play sports wear helmets,
Yeah.
the softball, baseball, things like that. Definitely have them use that toner. Icing their face if they have inflamed acne. Icing their face with like a jade roller or the little cold globes is so important to help soothe that inflammation, because they do have a habit of picking at their acne and popping
Okay.
those pimples. So
Yeah.
definitely keeping them at a minimal. We have a
Thank you.
great teen kit at the Afterglow Skin Bar, has
Yeah.
been very successful. Our teens love it and they're seeing results. And so if you have any questions or you need something for your teen, please by all means give us a call.
Yeah, thank you so much for pointing that out because there's a lot of hype about skincare. You know, the industry has boomed with profits, obviously, in
Absolutely.
brands and products. And thank you for saying, for when it comes to our teens, let's keep it minimal, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably a psychological effect too, Rochelle. You're a parent of a teen. And for all our parents out there, you know, there's a lot of self esteem things that go along with it. Acne is one more thing. And you're saying, let's not get too cumbersome. Let's not make this more than what it is. Let's just make sure we get in the habit of cleaning that skin and keeping it moisturized. And I love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for saying that because I think so many people that have oily skin and certain types sometimes can and they hate it, but you're saying you need that oil to help with the barrier. And I'm going to ask you this before we move on to our next question from our viewer. I've actually heard that sometimes the oilier the skin when you're younger, it can actually help you look younger later in life. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. I know
Wow.
it seems crazy, right? But it's absolutely true. So what happens is those natural oils are balancing everything.
Yeah,
So it seems nasty to you when you look at yourself like, my skin is so oily.
yeah.
But sometimes it's not a bad thing. It only becomes a bad thing if you start having reactions. So if you start having those pustule acne, the cystic acne, when you have the scarring going on, then that's bacteria. Okay. But if you just have oily skin and you don't have any blemishes, that's just your body producing those natural oils that we need. So there's a difference between your acneic, oily skin, then your cystic acne, your hormonal acne, your teen acne, and then your mature acne, or your mature skin. So that mature skin has no blemishes, just has oily skin, and we need to
Yes.
keep it hydrated. Because see, what happens is, Shayna, if we over exfoliate our skin, if we over dry our skin, and we pull all those oils that we naturally produce,
Yeah.
we start having complications like eczema. We start stripping our skincare,
Got
our skin barrier. Okay. And we definitely don't want to go through that. We
it. Yeah.
definitely don't want to have the stripped barriers, because then we start having sensitivity to everything. We start
Yeah.
having to have medical topicals that we have to
Mhm.
get on. Nobody wants to go through the medical topicals because those things can cause mood swings, hormonal
Oh,
imbalances. Also, they're
okay.
so strong. It also causes a lot of insecurities. I've been there. I was one
Okay.
that was on triamicalones before, and the
Uh-huh.
glyndazynamines before. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's a little insecure when you're putting these creams, these topical creams on there, and then you're looking at yourself with this white cast on your face, because you weren't using the proper skincare. You stripped your skin barrier. So I've been there. I've done that. Another reason why I've become an esthetician
Yeah.
is because I've been through this process before too.
I love it. I love it. I love your passion. Rochelle Rodriguez is breaking down healthy skin one-on-one with us here on Let's Talk America Radio. Let's keep it moving. Cheryl out of Atlanta, thank you so much. Our YouTube viewers, we love our YouTube. Y'all keep us on it, and we appreciate it. Cheryl's question is there a difference in visible signs of the aging process in darker pigmented skin versus lighter pigmented skin given the same set of circumstances? Great question.
So Shayna, we broke up there for just a second. I couldn't
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, I'll read it again. Can you hear me now, Rochelle?
Okay, try it one more time. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Cheryl from YouTube says, is there a difference in visible signs of the aging process and darker pigmented skin versus lighter pigmented skin, given the same set of circumstances? Great question.
That's a great question. I love that question. So, honestly, we all show signs of aging equally. No matter if we're darker, lighter, we just see it more if we're lighter
That's a
than
great
we would if
point.
we're darker. Okay. What the question here is are you more prone to it depending on your skin type? Are you more prone to the sun exposure causing those impurities? Are you more prone to the oils and lotions depending on your skin type causing those impurities? So to answer that question, as you know, more melanated skin, the more sun we get, the more
Mhm.
age spots we get, the more pigment we get. So then we start showing, signs of aging. Our lighter skin, when they're exposed to sun, they're more of they look actually a little bit tighter, right? But actually what's happening is they're actually causing their skin to be pigmented through within their skin. So
Gotcha.
eventually they start having the saggy skin, the crow's feet, the
Wow.
impurities start
Yeah.
coming out. Okay. So darker skin, when they're exposed to those impurities, when they're exposed to those environmental debris, we get more spots. Lighter skin tones start showing more sagginess, more loss of elasticity, which is the saggy skin. But either way, we lose 1% of elasticity anyway, like per month, sometimes every
Okay.
2 months. So keeping a good skincare regimen for your specific skin type,
I see.
like your serums need to be really important, hyaluronic acid, which is pretty much water for your skin. Vitamin C's are so important to help with the brightening
Wow.
process too. Vitamin E's are crucial for
Yeah.
pigmentation. I push vitamin E all the time with my clients that suffer from pigmented skin, from dark spots, from sun
Okay.
exposure, acne, scarring, anything like that.
Wow, great information. We're going to move right along to the next question. Michelle out of Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you, Colombians, for watching us. Thank you, Michelle. Her question's a great one. You spoke of dark spots. Michelle says, "What is good to clear up acne scars and dark spots?"
Oh, perfect. Great question. So you want to find ingredients that have niacinamides in there. Those are so good for targeting those spots. I would prefer that you actually get looked at for your dark spots to see where it's coming from, what's triggering the dark spots, because we don't want to put things like that all over our skin. We want to continue to have even skin tone. So depending on what's going on with your skin, what's causing the pigment, if it's acne scarring, you might need a spot treatment to where we're only actually targeting those spots. If it's larger areas, then we might want to do a stronger vitamin E, something with niacinamides, and then maybe even in a cleanser, maybe even in a serum where we're covering the whole entire skin.
Good. Great information. Thank you so much. We
Absolutely.
have a YouTube subscriber giving us lots of party confetti. We appreciate you so much.
Yay.
Cheryl on YouTube has another great question. She said, "Can sunscreen block the process of vitamin D conversion, thus leading to problems with vitamin D deficiency?" That's a great question because we talk about, a lot of times with babies, getting them out in the sun, getting the vitamin D. But the very thing to help us protect us against skin cancer, is it blocking it? And that first question, and my second part to that, sure, I'm going to piggyback. Does it affect darker skin versus lighter skin? Because one of the interesting, fascinating things that internists have come on this show, physicians, and told us that a lot of African Americans or people of color can have low vitamin D. They have a vitamin D deficiency, which you would think, you're thinking, but they have darker skin. So help us out with that, Rochelle.
So what happens with the process of that? That is a great question, because a lot of people tell me that too. They're like, what if I wear sunscreen, I'm blocking the
Yeah.
sun and I need the vitamin D? Well, the sunscreen is not actually blocking, it's protecting you from the rays. It's protecting you from sunburn also. So if you're doing it for a vitamin D deficiency, that you're going outside, you're not actually damaging your skin enough to where it's not going to make you feel better.
Okay.
Sitting outside is absolutely beneficial. It makes me feel good when I'm having a long day.
Yeah.
But even though I have my sunscreen on, those endorphins that you produce and after just being out in the sun, it's not enough, the sunscreen, for that not to actually still protect you and still give you that vitamin D that you
Okay.
need, if that makes any sense.
Got it.
So our sunscreen is going to protect us from sunburns. It's going to protect us from anti-aging. It's going to, not anti-aging in the sense of, it's more like wrinkles and pigment, things like that. Okay. So let's look at the sunscreen as being just like a protective barrier, but also knowing too that the sun rays and the sun that you're getting to get that vitamin D is also penetrating actually deeper into your body,
Yeah.
um, to give you that sense of protection and that vitamin D that you need for your body. I hope that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you. And I also will say, we know there's been some great scientific data that's pointed to global warming. And so the sun of 40 years ago is not the sun of today. And we could be getting more exposed to it. And if I'm correct in this, right, Rochelle, that other dangerous dynamics can be occurring because the sun is stronger and beaming down more on the skin. Is that fair to say?
That, yeah, I mean, absolutely. That is. I mean, if you think about it, you if when you go outside, um to sit outside just to get some of that sun because
Yeah.
you need a break or what, or whatever your reasons are, you're not sitting out there for hours at a time. The everything, like we said in the beginning, moderation with everything, right? So the point is to stay out in the sun, for health reasons, but you're not laying out there. Like, I used to be someone that would lay out in the sun for hours at a time because the darker for me, the better, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was damaging my skin. I was having more sunspots. I was having age
Okay.
spots. That was causing
Mm.
me age spots because your sunscreen only lasts for so long. So if you look at your sunscreen and they have like the percentages on there, like
Yes.
if it's a 30 or a 50 or a 70, um, little skincare tip here, that also tells you how strong your SPF is, but it also indicates how long you should like replace it. So if it's a 30, you should probably start reapplying that within 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
If it's a 50, you should be doing that after 50 minutes
I
or
see.
anywhere between 50 minutes to 2 hours, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's also a little bit of guide of how to reapply. And if you look at your instructions on your sunscreens, it'll tell you it'll last 8 hours, waterproof. That's not necessarily true. You need to reapply because at the end of the day, it is stripping, it's coming off, and we need just to reapply another layer of that sunscreen.
And Rochelle, I think a lot of people are guilty of putting it on if they're on vacation or they're going to summer camp. They put it on at the beginning of the day that morning and they don't reapply it at all. And
Exactly.
so I think that's such a great point to do it. Thank you for that life hack there. Thank you so much. We've got the power of words out of YouTube. Thank you. They have a great question saying, what is the best thing to do for lots of bumps on the chin? That's a great question. I will say this time of year, people tend to wear lots of turtlenecks or sweaters and right. And so is it possible that some of that fabric, which tends to be obviously synthetic, we know that about a lot of clothing, could that be possibly irritating something under the chin for people?
Absolutely. It could trigger so many things. Your skin is always changing. Your skin changes every 28 days. We have what we call skin cell turnover, where you literally lose dead skin every 28 days. So your skin is going to be either sensitive or the same the older we get too. So you might be a little bit more sensitive to certain things the older we get. Our hormones are changing. So now your skin might be sensitive to certain fabrics, certain materials, fragrances. As far as bumps in your chin, it all has so much to do with hormonal too. So
Yeah.
when you have breakouts in your chin and your jawline, that is mostly hormonal. If you have it around your cheek area, could be something with going on with your diet. It's got a lot to do with like your stomach. If you have it around your forehead, those are mostly like stress factors also. There's so much that goes into it. So as far as your chin, I would love to know a little bit more about the bumps. How do they look? Are they inflamed? Are they itchy? Are they ingrown hairs? It could be so many things. If it's just bumpy, kind of itchy, you might be having a reaction to the fabric. It could be heat. It
Yeah.
could be a product, possibly. It could even be, I just recently had to change my laundry detergent that I've been using for like over
Yeah.
10 years, because I'm all of a sudden just super sensitive to my laundry detergent. So I would love to know a little bit more detail about that, but it could be so many different things.
Let me ask you this: when you think about moisturizer, right, and being a mother, and my grandmother loved Vaseline, if you will, not a commercial for Vaseline, but putting it out there. We know it's a protected, it's a sealant, if you will. When you use any type of moisturizer, I would imagine, and you tell me, you know more about the science than I do. Is that helping with a barrier on our face as our face possibly encounters a turtleneck, a sweater, a sweatshirt, or a jacket rubbing up against it? I'm going too far? Is that possible? It can help.
No, it's definitely possible,
Okay.
because when we apply moisturizers, Vaseline, which I hope you're not anymore, um, it
But
rubs against,
were recommended for babies.
right.
Yeah.
um, anything that we put on our skin, even when you're using a regular moisturizer, I always tell my clients, try to put on your clothes first
Yeah.
and then put on your moisturizers. Because even when we
Okay.
pull our shirts down, we're touching the skin with the shirt. The shirt has, particles and it has little fuzzes, especially
Yes.
now in the winter, we're wearing these thick sweaters and things like that.
Yes.
So now your skin has touched and been contaminated in the sense of now we have little particles that have already their own chemicals built in, their own debris built in from being in the closet, from being hung in a, or being in a drawer for who knows how many days. At the end of the day, it still accumulates things even on your clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it could definitely cause irritation. But even with the Vaseline is going to clog your pores. But
Yes.
Vaseline also has ingredients on there that can cause irritation to the skin if it causes friction. So let's say you were wearing some moisturizer or you were wearing Vaseline, you had a turtleneck on. The more friction, because you're so,
A.
it's so enclosed in there, so tight in there. So friction is causing, so the friction is causing a reaction.
I
And then
see.
that's when you can start having like bumps and irritations and things like
Got
that.
it. Yes, and so true. There was a trend for a while on TikTok about Vaseline being put on faces. You remember that? But I think it's a great protected, but probably on elbows and knees and the bottoms of our foot, right?
Absolutely,
Rochelle,
yeah.
versus our skin, which tends to be a little more sensitive. When it comes to great question coming out of YouTube, what is the best treatment for blackheads? I know what you said you tend not want to happen is using your dirty hands to pop them. Back in my day, many years ago, acne medication where you put the little dot, if you will. We have the white cream. I know obviously those products still exist and they've evolved some. Are those still ideal for blackheads?
I would definitely steer away from those. Only for the simple fact that it's not long term.
Okay.
It's actually just going to irritate the skin more. Your skin is just going to get angry at this, short term, not medical grade ingredient. So if you go over the counter and you get your little, I guess they're called like the Noxzema strips that we used to use back in the day, that's all temporary and it's not really going to go deep into that pore. It's just going to take out what's on top of the surface.
Okay.
What you want to do is you want to get some medical grade product facials done. Obviously, we definitely need to get those monthly facials in. But then you also want to talk to your expert, your licensed esthetician about certain. So we give over the counter and we give our,
Okay.
retail bar suggestions. We have no shame in doing that. Okay. I would definitely look into more like clay masks. The clay mask is really good for pulling out those oils and pulling out those pores. And so, depending on what the clay mask says, you might need it for 5 or 10 minutes. I would definitely leave it in that area for that amount of time. Definitely stay away from picking at it. If you necessarily have to, my recommendation would be to get a Q-tip and get the ends of the Q-tip, both Q-tips, and just kind of start pushing on that. But I want you to put heat on where that congested area is. Let's open up that pore first so they can soften up that sebum and you'll have an
Okay.
easier extraction to where you're not necessarily scarring yourself.
Yeah. And for our teenagers watching or those who have our parents or grandparents of teens, I will say this, Rochelle, and obviously you're giving great solutions, but I'll say as someone who's gone through it and you've gone through it, also to remind those teenagers to be patient because your skin will continue to heal. And for most people, it gets better. Some people have lifelong serious acne, of course, not to downgrade that any, but most people, they'll get through it and then you'll wake up and one day you're 22 and 23, and most of the time you're going to love your skin. It's clear, right? Is that right, Rochelle, to say as we get
Absolutely.
older, the hormones sort of stabilize, right?
They do. They definitely do stabilize after a certain, period of time. I would say usually about the age of 25,
Yeah.
you start seeing that your skin is actually, steady. It's
Yes.
stable, it's steady. Of course, you still have your hormonal
Yeah.
imbalances here and
Yeah.
there because, we're not naive to the fact that we're still, going through menstrual cycles, stress,
Yes.
lifing. But the important thing is whether you have a skin condition, whether you have a diagnosis, okay, whether it's acne, cystic acne, it doesn't matter what it is. The most important part of your skin health routine is a great cleanser, the proper moisturizer, and your sunscreen. Those are the three major ingredients that I can give you the best advice for any type of skin. Okay. Because they're so crucial. It's like when you go to the hairdresser and you go get your hair done. What is the most important part of getting your hair done? Is that washing process.
Yeah.
If you don't wash your hair correctly, your hair is going to get oily, greasy, dirty. It's not going to look good. It's the same thing with your skin. So having a proper cleanser and a good moisturizer and the proper sunscreen is crucial to all skin.
Yeah. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Great question. Hello, Demetrius out of Atlanta. He said, hi, Shana. excuse me, Money on the Tray out of on YouTube said, just join. Do you have a website, Rochelle? And also, uh, he or she, I think this is a male, said, I have lots of tiny bumps on the nose. Any idea where what they are and how to fix it? I think I've seen throughout, you see men and women, a lot of times people have almost like a cluster. I don't know if this is Money on a Tray saying, but a cluster of bumps sort of in the corner of the nose. And I've seen that on all ethnicities as well. Is that a common condition, and anything that you can help with that, Rochelle?
Absolutely. So there's so many different aspects to that. Some people have confused these little white hard bumps that come around like their eye area sometimes, and they're super hard, and you can't really pop them. And when you do pop them, it's not like a pus. It's just like a little
Okay.
tiny hard dot. That's just more of a collection of keratin. Those are called milias. When we're talking about whiteheads, those are more of like they're in the surface of that area that's congested, and they're either going to become a blackhead or they're going to stay as a whitehead. And those are the ones that whether you push your nose up or you squeeze your nose and you see the little white things coming out, those are what we call white comedones. So those are your whiteheads. That is accumulation again of oils just clogged into those pores,
Uh-huh.
and they eventually do turn into blackheads. So I would definitely, again, those clay masks are amazing. Having the proper clay mask, though, is very important, is very crucial to your skincare health. If you're going to go to an esthetician, they're probably going to extract those. They're probably going to do a hydrofacial, which
Okay.
is going to actually, mechanically go in there and pull all those impurities out so we can start clearing that out, because it's just accumulating on there, and it's either going to get worse or it's just going to stay the same. At some point, we have to get professional help to pull all that out.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much. Great information. Kay out of Atlanta says, thank you for the information that she had actually asked earlier, talking about changing up your skin routine. Thank you so much. Miss Peggy out of Atlanta Metro says, hello. Thank you, Miss Peggy, for watching us. We appreciate you. Kay says, which hazel is good? I know that's a specific brand, right, Rochelle? And do you often recommend witch hazel? And if so, or if not, what is it ideally used for?
I would be really careful with the witch hazel. Some of these brands, their witch hazel, it has a lot of alcohol base to it, so it's very
Okay.
drying. I really recommend to my clients to use more in this towards like rose water as a toner. It's a little bit more calming and
Okay.
more hydrating, and we want to steer away from anything too harsh. Also, again, going back to the toners, it just all depends. Why are we using the toner? Why do
Okay.
you need the toner? What's going on with your skin? Does your skin need a toner every day, every other day, once a week? So, are you someone that wears makeup every single day, that you might need to have a toner in your regimen like 3 times a week? But that all goes into effect of also talking to a professional and
Okay.
figuring out when is the proper time for you to actually use that toner.
Yes.
And I'm sure I have some estheticians on here that I think I just saw on here, fellow estheticians too, that can actually agree with me that when we were in school learning about toners, we were just super naive to it too. I mean, we were putting toner every day because it's what we were told we needed to
Yeah.
rehydrate the skin after cleansing and things
Yes.
like that. But we're keeping in mind too that it all depends on your skin and how your skin is on a daily basis.
Yeah. And that's so key, because I think we've evolved with knowledge of any area when it comes to medical care for any part of our body. Deborah out of Atlanta says, wow. She says, correct on application. Katie Shockling Madison says, great information, Rochelle. Thank you for watching. Deborah on YouTube says, what is the best for youngsters, preschool, elementary to use? What a great question, because I think so many times we focus on that preteen, that hormonal influx of 11 plus. But Rochelle, I've seen, being around children for years, that often you have first or second graders. There seems to be some often skin conditions that occur, and I don't know how true this is, but I'm going to assume this. I know because they say there's a lot of things that have increased, such as asthma and allergies over the last decade with our children, that a lot of eczema and other skin conditions have gone along right with that. Do you agree, or do you have any information on that?
Absolutely. I've had parents call me. I've had clients who are parents of
Yeah.
young kids, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years
Yeah.
old, elementary, preschool ages. And it's incredible because I collaborate with a lot of doctors. I collaborate with a lot of dermatologists because, of course, there's things that I want to ask questions about
Yes.
also. And so the doctors are telling me that, even their asthma medication, steroid, has
Yes.
so much plays such a big role in the breakouts that children are having at such a young age. I had a mother with a 4-year-old who her child started experiencing eczema around their skin when she started her child on asthma medication with was the inhaler, right? So many things play a big role in that. Also hygiene. I mean, we all know
Okay.
kids get into everything. So, properly bathing every single day, properly bathing certain areas of the body, using the correct soaps for your child. When they're little, they don't need to necessarily be on a cleanser per se. We do have a very clean cleanser that we do use on the smaller, um, age kids also, that it's our parents are loving as well. But, Shayna, with the little kids, preschool ages, I would say anywhere between, 2 to 8 years old, I
Okay.
would definitely just have a really sensitive skin, like bath soap. We're
Okay.
so into these body washes right now that those body washes have other ingredients in there. The bar soaps, I don't know why we're steering away from bar soaps, but those are the ingredients that you need the most of is in that bar
Okay.
soap. Okay. So using a very sensitive skincare, skin, like bar soap for sensitive skin, I'm sorry. It's so important for those younger age kids too, because they just need to keep their skin clean. I don't
Okay.
want them on medical grade products. I don't need them on the teen line because it's not hormonal. It's mostly just environmental, seasonal allergies and things like that, that their body, their immune system is building up to.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Great information. We're talking about skincare routine. We're talking about acne. We're talking about breakouts. We're talking about eczema. We're talking about hormones, all the things that affect the largest organ on you, and that's your skin that we have. And
Yeah.
obviously be proud of your skin, regardless of the type it is or complexion. We want you to feel good about it. And that's why licensed esthetician Rochelle Rodriguez out of Atlanta. She's a business owner and an instructor and an advocate for skincare. She's so adamant. She wants you to have that self-esteem. And what is so amazing about Rochelle, and obviously she runs a business to specialize in that, but she loves giving you the tools and the resources and the knowledge to do it yourself. I love that. Thank you, Stacy, out of Atlanta, for watching us. We appreciate you. Tamria says hello. Thank you, out of being an ATL, joining us. Stacy says she uses turmeric wash soap on her face. It has helped her skin. Rochelle, have you seen great results with that?
I love turmeric. We have our bio relief powder that we use to help with inflammation after we do extractions. So, is it Stacy? Stacy, that's
Yes.
wonderful. I think that that's a great add-on to your skincare routine. Also, be very careful how you use it, though. So, be very moderate with it. Maybe not use it with every wash, because at the end of the day, turmeric still has some ingredients that can be a little bit drying, also.
Okay.
But absolutely, I can definitely relate to you with that because we use it in our treatment room as well. We mix it with our masks, we mix it with our serums, we mix it in our chemical-based chemical peels also to kind of help brighten and help with the inflammation as well. So that is great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. We have Katie on. Katie says your skin looks beautiful. I'm assuming she's talking about Rochelle, but thank you so much for that
Thank
feedback.
you.
Pam says I love using rose water to wash my face. Any tips on that? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so the rose water is very hydrating. I'm sure she can relate to that. I'm sure that's why she loves the benefits of it. It's making her skin feel really refreshed.
Yes.
So I love that for her. Absolutely. Continue to use your rose water as long as you're moderately using it. Don't use it twice a day. During your nighttime wash is probably your most important because your nighttime, during the day we're exposed to so much. So your nighttime routine is the most important routine. So I would definitely continue to add that rose water to your skincare routine. That's wonderful.
Awesome. Great information here. You're watching Let's Talk America podcast radio. I'm Shana, on air host and executive producer, and we have a great conversation. We're beginning to wrap up with the one and only licensed esthetician, Rochelle Rodriguez, out of Atlanta Metro. Deborah on YouTube says, do you have a recommended soap? I think this is probably reference back to what we said about our children, but it specialized on our children, Rochelle, and one in general. She said Ivory soap. Do you recommend that particular one?
So I'm actually on it right now for sensitive skin, just because I'm going through it right now with the winter months right now too. So my skin is a little bit dry. Depending on what's going on with your skin, Deborah. So if you're going through like dry skin, if your skin is all of a sudden feeling really sensitive to your normal skincare routine or your normal soaps, I don't know if you've been using it for a while. If it's working, great. If it's not working, maybe adding a little bit of tea tree oil to your ivory soap to kind of help soothe the skin a little bit more. If you're using it for itchiness and dryness, would be great. It would be very beneficial. The turmeric also could be very beneficial to mixing with the ivory. Definitely is a good choice. There's so many different things out there that are actually good. I have a client who's on using like black soap too, and it's actually doing really good with her skin. So I think with everybody, it just varies.
Okay.
I focus so much more on your skin, like on your face, but I can definitely tell you that the ivory soap is something that I use myself in when I'm bathing, and it's definitely helped me out tremendously. I also do like hyaluronic acid though to kind of give my body a little bit extra hydration.
And Rochelle, I think this possibly could have been a reference to the one about children. Can you
Okay.
expound on that one? Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
I think so.
Yeah,
I want to make sure we're covering. And Deborah did come back later just now and says, I go back and forth with sensitive Dove. I love black soap as well.
yeah. So I was gonna say your Dove, your Ivory, or your black soap would be definitely. Well, maybe not the black soap on the littles, but Dove or Ivory would definitely be okay for the children. Again, just bathing them once a day.
She's saying
You
children. She
know,
said yes,
with the
reference
children,
to the
right? That was the question.
yes.
Yes. So I would definitely stick to the Ivory sensitive skin, or the Dove sensitive skin for sure.
And you just said, did I catch you say bathe them once a day? Are you saying don't overbathe children?
Yeah, we don't want to overbathe the children. We don't want to overbathe ourselves either. Again, I collaborate with different doctors, different dermatologists. It's unbelievable what I'm about to tell you. But even ourselves, we shouldn't be bathing every single part of our body every single day. What we should be bathing every single day is mostly, the important parts, your underarms, behind your ears,
You're crying.
your obviously your, private areas and things like that. Because we over dry our skin when we bathe too long. And, also, something that's really important also that I want to add into that is the heat in the shower. So we all love hot water, right? We want to have the hottest. I know I used to be that person. The redder I was, the better. So using lukewarm water is so important. We don't want the water to be too hot. We don't want it to be too cold because the heat can actually dry our skin even more. So making sure that we're bathing once a day, which is mostly our nighttime routine again, and not washing your face in the shower. So let's try to get into the habit of washing our face outside of the shower, because in the shower we're exposed to everything. We just wash, our whole entire body, dirt's coming down our face, all the things. You're washing your hair. So the best time to actually wash your face is out of the shower.
Okay, thank you for that information. And so
Absolutely.
you're saying so many people will say long hot showers are great, but you're saying not necessarily for the skin, because I
No.
guess when we talked about balance, just like spicy food, but even when we're talking about temperature of water, anything extreme is going to possibly affect it somehow, right? In a
Yeah, your
different
shower
way.
should be anywhere between maybe 7 to 8 minutes, if even that.
I see. So you heard it first from a licensed esthetician here. The long hot showers that is running up your water bill, she's saying cut it.
Just go ahead and cut that now. You'll
Stacey is
thank me
saying,
later.
Stacey is saying thank you for this information. And thank you, Deborah. We appreciate you clarifying that. And she said, wow, Rochelle, this has been such a great conversation. We're going to wrap up. We thank everybody for watching us, all the questions. We love it. Dr. K out of Atlanta says, my dermatologist just told me that I take hot showers for too long. It has damaged my skin. You just echoed that. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dr.
absolutely. It is such it's real. It's a real thing. When we wash our face, we should only wash our face with that cleanser for 60 seconds, going circular motions upward and
Okay.
outwards. When you're bathing in the shower, again, no more than 7 minutes really tops. And that's just the major parts of your body,
Yeah.
get the major parts of your body.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that dermatologist was correct. I hear it all the time when I collaborate with them. Also, hot showers are so just they're ruining our skin. They're drying our skin,
Yeah.
and so the heat, all that. I mean, think about it. When we're out in the sun too, we feel hot. We feel like dehydrated and hot. It's the same thing happening in the shower. We're taking these hot showers and we're dehydrating ourselves.
Yeah. So just be mindful of the activities that
Very
we're doing.
mindful.
Yeah, I love it. Rochelle Rodriguez, the one and only. She is the owner of the Afterglow Skin Bar out of Atlanta Metro. She is a licensed esthetician. She's also a college instructor teaching the next generation of skin experts. And of course, she's an advocate for healthy skin care as well. Before you get out of here, I've got to ask two important questions. One, we obviously we know lots of individuals who have who wear makeup, right? And we see it on social media. Not makeup shaming anybody out there, right? If that is your truth and you love to dress up and doll up, that's your right. But Rochelle, right now, as a licensed esthetician, as a skin expert, I want you to explain, and I don't know the correct answer to this, but all of the makeup that's going on, right? Some of that makeup is heavier than others. You and I both know that. There are individuals that spend up to an hour putting on makeup daily in the morning. How healthy is makeup for the skin? And maybe that's not a fair question, but maybe the more important question is how critical is it that it's being removed every day properly?
Oh, that's such a great question. It's such an important question too. Yeah. So as far as makeup is concerned, so many things play a role into that. Even the way you apply your makeup plays a role into the aging process. So we're using the makeup brushes, and if we're not going those upward directions and outward directions, but we're just constantly pounding our skin with things, we're causing trauma to the skin, we're causing more sagginess to the skin
Uh,
and things like that. So even our application plays a big role
wow.
in makeup. Okay. But going back to the use of makeup, all cosmetics, all lotions, all creams, everything clogs our pores. Okay. So there's not a
Okay.
specific brand or specific skin like makeup line that I can actually give you some advice on that
Yes.
doesn't clog our pores. The most important thing is that you're removing that makeup every single day. So using an oil-based cleanser to do a pre-cleanse with, Dermalogica, I'm putting them out there because it's one of my favorite pre-cleanses. They have a great pre-cleanse. It's an oil base, and applying that to your skin to try to take that makeup off as much as possible before you cleanse your skin with a cleanser. Okay, so using an oil-based cleanser to pre-cleanse, take that off first is very beneficial, and
Yeah.
then going in with a double cleanse, which is with your regular cleanser, to take the rest of that debris off. Laying in the bed with your makeup on, or talking on the phone, and then you wash your face but you still have makeup residue on your phone and you just put it on your clean face, we're
Wow.
still, yeah, so we're still collecting that bacteria. We're still,
I,
we're putting that bacteria back into our skin. You lay it on a pillow because you were so tired. You know, my son has a bad habit of laying on the pillow in the couch or something when he gets home from basketball practice. And I'm like, now I gotta change the pillowcase because you just laid on it, and now you're gonna take a shower and you're gonna expose your skin back to bacteria. It's the same thing with makeup. It's the same thing with anything that we lay on that we haven't cleaned from our daily basis. So as far as your makeup is concerned, I would definitely recommend that you take your makeup off immediately. There's some
okay.
makeup wipes there that are okay for your skin. I just wouldn't trust those too much because they can over dry your skin.
Okay, got it. And thank you for sharing that. COVID hit us. Obviously, it was a very unfortunate part in the history of our world. But one of the things that came out of it, there was a trend for some celebrities. I think Pamela Anderson is one of the more highly profiled ones, where she went makeup free, and she shows up now, from my understanding, at some of the film festivals, being makeup free. I know that may not be for everyone, right? And again, we're not shaming you. Be proud of who you are. But Rochelle, do you recommend for those that are wearing makeup perhaps to go to work Monday through Friday, or they're going on dates, or they're going out with friends, or they have their own YouTube channel or Instagram page, if you will, where they're beating the face, as the young kids say? Do you recommend there's a time where they do break from the chemicals of makeup? Are you telling some individuals maybe you don't need to put the makeup on heavy every single day? Take a Sunday break. I mean, I'm putting that out there. I don't know. Is that a recommendation from your industry or from you professionally?
Absolutely. So the same way I would give you a skin cycle with different products, with different stronger ingredients. If I send you home with that, I put you kind of like on a skin cycle. So I may tell you
Yes.
use this for 2 days, take a break for a week, go back on it. It's the same thing with makeup. We got to let our skin breathe. Again, our skin is our largest organ, so we need to let that organ breathe. We need to let it oxygenate, right? So we need to give it a break from chemicals. We need to give it a break from, things that are clogging our pores. So absolutely, Shana, that's a great question. I would definitely recommend that you do makeup cycle, I guess we can call it. You do give your skin a little bit of break from that. So if you use it Monday through Friday because of work, give yourself that Saturday and that Sunday. There's
Okay.
tinted moisturizers that are really safe for your skin. There's tinted sunscreens that you can use as well that will still give you that look that you have makeup on. But let's be mindful about that as well. Let's just be minimal. Let's be moderate with it. So if you absolutely have to wear makeup, but you're just going to the store, let's talk about this. It all becomes within. We got to be more secure about ourselves.
That's right.
Okay. Let's learn to love ourselves. Let's learn to love
That's
the
right.
skin that we're in, because we only have one skin. Okay. And so I guess the biggest concern that I have is, are we covering our insecurities with makeup?
Wow.
Right? Is that what we're doing? We're not really doing it because I'm going to work. We're doing it because we're covering up something. So we're covering up impurities, we're covering up scars. So how about we heal those things? How about we go into more of a holistic, natural, regimen, and let's heal that. That way we can steer away from using the makeup. And it might come to a point where all you need is a tinted moisturizer or a tinted sunscreen. And so let's educate ourselves. Let's get that knowledge. Let's go see a licensed professional, and let's see where we're at with the makeup. Why are we using the makeup?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rochelle, for saying that unscripted of saying, why are we putting it on and are we loving ourselves? Because everybody has impurities on their skin. If there's a scar or a bump, or when you learn how to ride your bike, or you fell down at 12 years old, whatever it is, there's something on you. And again, everybody's journey is different. We're not here to shame anyone on one end of the spectrum or not. But truly, wherever you are in your journey with skin, we encourage you to love yourself, because you're going to be you if that makeup line goes out of business or not. Brandy, who's a provider out of Atlanta Metro, said, loving yourself with or without makeup is a great point. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brandy, for joining us. We appreciate that. And Rochelle, so true. We're getting requests for your contact information. We're going to get there. I want to close out on something that's so important. We've had cardiac surgeons come on the show, neurologists, nephrologists, internists, endocrinologists. We've had HIV specialists. We've had so many people come on. And no matter where we are in the journey of medicine and treating the body, Rochelle, I'm going to ask you the same question I always try to ask them. There's so much they can do. A routine, you're saying, cleanse the face, do all these things, stay away from hot showers. So many people deal with stress, Rochelle. If it's stress from a relationship, a romantic one, or their mothers or fathers, or internal battles they're doing themselves, or worried, stress about a child not making the right decision, who is that child is 35 years old, but you know, and I know the mother and the father and most people still hold on. What would be your advice? Does stress affect the skin? If so, how? And what would be your professional and personal advice as a human being yourself, living and lifing just like the rest of us? How key is it to try to get that stress under control, Rochelle? So we're not looking 90 when we're just 35 years old. Real talk for real people.
Real talk, Shayna. You're hitting home with that one. I'm such a big advocate on that stress level, because stress comes in so many different forms.
Yes. Yeah.
There's that good stress, and then there's the stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the good stress is always one of those things where something good is happening in your life, but you wanted to continue to keep going, and you're stressing that something is going to go wrong. It's just too good to be true, right? It's just too good to be true. And then you have your bad stress, you have your depression, your anxiety. And unfortunately, and I hate to say this, unfortunately, but we are living in a world right now where there's so much stress going on with everything, jobs, financials, health, mental health. And so, as you already know from knowing me for a while now, I'm such a huge advocate with mental health awareness as well, with when it comes to that, because a lot of our mental health is coming from finances, is coming
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
not being able to work or not being happy in your environment. You hit that with the relationships as well. Also, I have so many clients who lay in that treatment room and they cry, they laugh, they open up to me. We kind of become a therapist, a psychologist, we become a friend, a teacher, a preacher. We become all these things in that treatment room. And it's so important to focus on where is the stress coming from.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that at the Afterglow Skin Bar I'm here to fix your stress, but I hope that we can cultivate an environment where you can open up, feel better
Yes.
about yourself, look at yourself in the mirror when you leave that treatment room and see your skin glowing and make you feel so much better about yourself. But to talk a little bit about that and how stress can
Mm,
trigger. When we're stressed out, we're either stress eating, um, and now we're eating bad. And so now it's causing things, impurities on our skin, it's causing breakouts.
yeah.
And even as we're older, we can have acne. 25, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yes.
I have 60-year-olds that are undergoing so much stress due to
Mm-hmm.
health
That's
related
right.
things right now that have acne breakouts.
Yeah.
So staying hydrated, um, having some self care. Self care is so important. Take time for you. Okay. Um, take time for you. Figure something out that makes you happy, that makes you smile. It could be your favorite song, it could be dancing, it could be going and having a spa day. It could be going to eat your favorite ice cream or something. But having at least one day out of a month to give yourself self-care and self-love will definitely help with the stress factors.
Beautiful.
um, I wish I had the answer for stress, but we all go through stress, right?
Yes. Yes.
I was stressing coming on here today, that making sure I gave the correct information, the right information. Um, but stress comes in so many different forms
Mm-hmm.
that I think the best thing to do with that is just give yourself some what's the word I'm looking for? Give yourself some love. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you don't love yourself, no one else is. If you
Yeah.
don't give yourself self-care, no one else is.
That's
Okay.
right.
When you see yourself in the mirror, give yourself some self affirmations. Tell yourself you
Mhm.
look beautiful, you feel great. Have a healthier lifestyle, have a healthier diet. Erase negativity out of your life as much as you can, and do more for you.
Beautiful. I love it. I do want to echo that Brandy Pinkney Green said adequate sleep along with decreasing stress levels can help skin repair. She's a provider out of Atlanta Metro. Our skin's repair itself while we are asleep. You are doing great. As she said, Rochelle, give yourself
Give
grace.
yourself grace. Yes, that's the word I was looking
I
for.
love it. I
Thank
love it. And
you.
that's so true. Wherever you are on the journey of life, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get your A1C down, if you are battling any particular disease state or mental or emotional concern, give yourself grace and you're going to be just fine, one way or the other. That I promise and assure you. I did want to address something really quick out of YouTube. Deborah said, before you go, Rochelle, back to the youngsters for a body lotion or moisturizer. I know we talked about Ivory or Dove, and she had mentioned black soap, but do you have a moisturizer? Not to necessarily endorse a particular brand, but for the young, their skin's a little different.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to do something. If you're talking about over the counter, just make sure that whatever you have or whatever you look for has hyaluronic acid and ceramides. Those are really gentle. They're going to be soothing. They're still going to hydrate the skin, and they're safe to use on all ages and all skin types.
I love it. And Deborah's going to close us out from YouTube. She said, sleep, the miracle worker. You got that right.
Absolutely,
Most
yeah.
Americans
Getting
need
enough
more
sleep
of
and
it.
staying hydrated is so important.
Yeah, and when people often talk about diet and exercise, and we've had obviously pulmonologists, sleep experts come on this show and echo that sleep is that third pillar of health. You need the sleep you need to restore for your brain, for your memory, for stress, so much of it, and also for that largest organ that we have, that skin, to keep
That
us
skin.
well, looking as great as possible and having the best health as possible. Rochelle Rodriguez out of Atlanta Metro. She's the owner operator of the Afterglow Skin Bar. Rochelle, you've got to tell them where your spot is located, right? Let them know. Let them know your hours, or phone number, or website. If you're in the Atlanta metro area, check her out. Go ahead, Rochelle.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for all your questions. They were absolutely great. But if you have any more questions, you need a one-on-one with me or any of my licensed estheticians, you can always catch us on Instagram, the afterglow.skinbar. We're also on Facebook with the Afterglow Skin Bar. Our website right now is under construction, but as soon as that gets up, I'll share that information on Shana's page as well. And we'll also update it on our Instagram and our social media page. The reason it's under construction now is we have so much great things going on right now. We're bringing in the wellness into it. We have a bariatric surgeon. We have a nurse practitioner talking about all things wellness, and our doctor talking about all things bariatric and weight loss and exercise and all that good stuff. So, but we are located at 550 Eagles Landing Parkway in Stockbridge, Georgia. That's 30281 in Suite 205. And our phone number is 470-317-9020. We can do online consultations if you'd like. Normally, it's not as, of course, easy to do it that way, but we can kind of help you through it. Of course, in person is always the best, so we can do a more thorough skin analysis, but we would love to answer any of your questions. You can DM us, you can email us, anything that might help, that we can answer all your questions. You can call us, come visit us. Whatever is easier for you, we're here to help you.
Awesome. We love it. Thank you so much, Rochelle Rodriguez,
Thank you.
joining us here on Real Talk, our live video edition on Sunday nights for Let's Talk America with host Shana Thornton. I'm Shana Thornton. It's been a pleasure. What a great conversation. And we've had dermatologists on before, but I think you're our first licensed esthetician on. Of course, you're a friend of this show. We appreciate all of the education and awareness you provided.
Thank you so much for
Lakeisha,
having me. This was great. I
my
love it.
pleasure. Lakeisha out of Atlanta said great information. Thank you for
Thank
watching
you
us as
so much.
well.
Thank you,
One of our
everybody, so much.
educators. Thank you. Of course, our Rochelle gave great information. Keep in mind, I always do this because it's the responsible component of our show. Her information is for general purposes only, to educate and keep you aware. For more specific information about your health condition, Rochelle and obviously all of the medical experts recommend you see your own expert, advocate, or provider for more specific information. We appreciate you watching us. Let's Talk America with host Shana Thornton has more programming before you. Not much more before the year wraps up, but 2025 will be here. We're going to continue this conversation. Rochelle's going to be back on again because after all, the seasons change and we got to talk about how that affects the skin. Whatever you do, I'm going to echo Rochelle. Live your best life and love you. Love the skin you're in. You want to enhance it. You want to make it healthier. You want to deal with some skin conditions. Like she said, she's all here and others advocates for it as well. But at the end of the day, love who you are. That's a theme that we're going to keep pushing as long as we're on air. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. Stay with us. And because we offer real talk for real people, and that's you. Stay with us, everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we're going to see and chat with you in December. Thanks, Rochelle. Awesome job.
Thank you for having me. Have a
Take
good
care,
night.
everyone.
Thank you,
Let's give Rochelle a
everyone.
virtual clap. You were
Yes,
awesome.
thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Stay
Thank you so
tuned.
much.